Hey everybody, welcome to the channel and thanks for being here. Here we're going to talk about all things strength training, primarily barbell training, gym life, nutrition, and structuring your life and your training in such a way to make you strong physically and mentally. For our inaugural address, I'm going to talk to you about a few of the ways that getting started in your strength training journey will change your life and give you all the things that you've always deserved. Now, I'm 53 now, and I've been training for 40 years. I got my start at the age of 13 on an old Sears weight set in my basement. If anybody remembers those old sand-filled weights with a metal pipe as a bar and a plastic sleeve that went over it with little red clips to hold the weights on, that's where I got my start, an old bench that I bought. So I've seen it all in my time, and these are some of my lessons from 40 years of lifting and coaching. Now, there are times in life that change you. And I'm talking about decisions that you make, not circumstances that happen in your life. So for example, the biggest change in my life came when my son was born. But that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about conscious decisions that you make that you can look back on years later or even decades later, and you can point to that and say, that one decision really changed the course of my life. That set me on a new path and brought me to where I am today. And I'm so thankful that I made that decision. And you can usually count these on one hand. They happen so rarely. So without a doubt, that decision for me was joining my first gym at the age of 17. I had cut my teeth for those first few years in the basement on home gyms, and then went with a friend and joined my first gym at the age of 17. And by far, without a doubt, that was the biggest change in my life that led me to where I am today in a life of strength training. So I'll run down some of the ways that making that decision changed my life and will change yours too. So the first way is that lifting will change who you are fundamentally. One of my favorite sayings that I like to tell people is that when you strengthen the body, the mind will follow. Okay, when you strengthen the body, the mind will follow. So when you make that decision to work on your body and get strong and build strength, you can't help but get stronger mentally. It's just something that happens. You can't help it. You're going to get stronger mentally at the same time that you're getting stronger physically. Getting strong will spill over into other areas of your life. So you'll start to see that the habits you're developing in life outside of the gym are mirroring those habits that you're doing inside the gym. You'll start to be a little more routine oriented. You will notice that you start liking a little bit more structure in your life. You'll be more mindful of the way you dress. You'll just start taking a little bit more pride in your appearance overall. Be more mindful of the way your clothes fit. Your general sense of confidence will rise. You'll just become more confident naturally. You'll start walking a little taller and just feel a little bit better about yourself. You'll start to identify as someone who lifts, and in turn, you'll act accordingly. So you'll start to prioritize different things, you will notice. You start saying no more often. No to those late nights. No to those chicken wing and beer nights. You'll start saying no to things that don't serve your overall purpose. And you'll start shifting your lifestyle to match that. You'll make better decisions that benefit your training and serve your overall purpose. Getting strong physically means you can't help but get strong mentally if you're doing it for the right reasons. And I can tell you, the reasons that you start won't be the same reasons that push you to continue and see it through. So I want you to check out this quote from Henry Rollins. This is one of my favorite quotes. "The iron is the best antidepressant I have ever found. There's no better way to fight weakness than with strength. Once the mind and body have been awakened to their true potential, it's impossible to turn back." So that's what I'm talking about when I say the things that you start with, the reasons that you start, won't be the same reasons that push you to continue. Now, typically, we're going to start for ego reasons, vanity reasons. We want to look better. Everyone wants to look better. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that's motivation. Okay? What's going to happen is that you'll start to develop other reasons to push you through. Those things won't be so important anymore. What you see in the mirror is not going to be as important as what you're feeling, how your life is changing. So your reasons will change, and those are going to be the things that push you through. Which leads me to reason number 2. You'll develop discipline. So what you're going to find is that you start to fall in love with the process, not the results. You'll start to become obsessed with the work you're putting in rather than the results that you want to see. You'll start taking pride in putting the work in every day long before the results are going to show up. Now, I want you to think of discipline as the bridge between your goals and your achievements. So we all have goals in mind when we start on our journey, but discipline is going to be the bridge that gets you to the achievement part of it. So when you develop discipline, what's going to happen is that you're going to fall in love with the version of yourself that you are becoming on the way to your destination. Reason number 3, you learn the importance of prioritizing yourself. So our tendency as parents and providers is to sacrifice our own needs and prioritize everyone else's, putting ourselves last. And I can tell you, this gets you nowhere. Okay, putting yourself last and everyone else first, you may think that that is selfless. It's not. It's selfish, because you are not then bringing the best version of yourself. So when you prioritize yourself, you're now doing something that's just for you. And in turn, you're going to bring the best version of yourself to every other area of your life, to being a parent, to your spouse, to your friends, to your employer. So just the act of carving out that time for yourself and doing something that's just for you, you're now going to bring the best version of yourself to all the people around you. And everyone's going to benefit from that. And I want you to be unapologetic about this, okay? Don't sacrifice this part of yourself. When you make that commitment, stick to it. So if you get asked to skip the gym, the answer is no. If you get asked to eat crap food just this one time and live a little, the answer is no. Be unapologetic. Prioritize yourself. This is what you are doing just for you. You have carved this out for yourself, because in turn, you know that you're now going to bring the best version of yourself to every other area of your life. Reason number 4, you will learn the value of delayed gratification. So we've all heard the saying, all good things come to those who wait. Okay, and this is very, very true. So there was a study done a long time ago, back in the 70s at Stanford University, I believe, called the marshmallow test. And it was done with kids, where they put kids in a room alone and gave them a marshmallow and said, I'm going to leave the room. You can have this now. But when I come back, if it's still here, I'll give you another one. You can have 2. And some kids could do it. Some kids could have the discipline to wait and they'd get 2. Or some just couldn't do it. So what we're going to do here is you're going to learn the value of that delayed gratification and getting those rewards, putting in the work now for rewards that are going to come later. So what we want to look for here are small, consistent improvements that will reveal themselves over time, not immediately. So instead of looking in that mirror and wondering where your dream body is, we're going to look for those small, consistent improvements that happen steadily over time and reveal themselves much later. And these usually come in the form of performance goals, so tracking your numbers. So I always teach people to track their numbers. You obviously want to see what you are gaining in your weights. What gets measured gets managed. So when you're doing this, when you're learning to delay gratification, the journey becomes the reward, not the destination. And reason number 5 is that you will find your people. In my training journey over the last 40 years, by far one of my favorite parts has been the relationships that I've made along the way, the people that I've met, the people that I've trained with. What's happening is you are now surrounding yourself with like-minded people who have similar goals. So being in the shit together, as I like to say, can lead to an intense bond. You're grinding it out together. You're getting into it. You've got war stories now that you can tell, standing around between sets with chalk all over your hands, talking about how that last set was killer. You didn't think you had it in you, but you grinded it out anyway. When you're in the gym, you're usually going to see the same people day in and day out, several times a week, doing the same things as you, which can lead to that bond, that commonality. So you're going to find your people. This is a really positive thing. What we've lost track of in the last handful of years, maybe 10 years, 20 years, is the third place. Having that third place to go. We have work, we have home, and we used to have a third place. Now, the third place can be somewhere kind of unhealthy, like a bar, or for some people it's a church. For some people it's clubs. In this case, for us, it's gyms. So your third place is going to be those people that you're bonding with. You're going to find your people. If any of this resonates with you and you are either getting started in your strength training journey or thinking about it and you want some guidance along the way, I'm looking for a handful of guys to work with to join my Black Iron Strength program at an introductory rate. So click the link down below and book a call with me, absolutely free. We can just get on a call and talk about your goals, just see where you're at, where you want to be, and put together a game plan together. And if you are thinking about joining a gym, you're looking around, make sure you check out this video on what to look for when you're choosing a gym. Thanks for being here, everybody. See you next time.